A college student's phone was stolen in New Orleans the night before her flight, along with her driver's license, credit cards, and entire identity attached to it. The next morning at airport security, she had absolutely nothing. No ID, no backup, no plan. What TSA did next will shock you and could save your next trip from complete disaster. Welcome back to Journey Tips, your trusted source for smarter air travel. Today, I'm sharing 7 TSA identification secrets that could save you hundreds of dollars and massive headaches on your next flight. And I'll guarantee you this, by secret number 5, you'll understand why the TSA doesn't advertise these backup options. Let's start with something that might surprise you about what really counts as valid ID. Secret number 1, the Real ID reality check. Picture this scenario. You're packing for your trip and suddenly panic hits. Is your driver's license even valid for flying after May 7th, 2025? Here's the thing most travelers don't realize. The Real ID deadline that everyone's been dreading? It's not the travel apocalypse the media makes it sound like. You have way more options than you think. Your current driver's license probably already complies with Real ID requirements. Look for a black star, gold star, or the word enhanced on your license. Most states have been quietly updating licenses for years. But here's what really surprised me when I researched this. The Real ID Act was actually signed back in 2005. That's 20 years of warning, yet somehow millions of travelers still think they're going to be stranded at airports come May. Smart travelers know this secret. You can also use your passport for domestic flights, just like you would for international travel. I actually used to prefer this method for 3 reasons that changed how I travel. First, passports are harder to lose because of their size. Ever try finding a tiny driver's license that fell out of your wallet, but a dark blue passport book on an airport floor? Someone's definitely going to notice that. Second, no fumbling around in TSA lines trying to locate that little plastic card in your overstuffed wallet. Just hand over your passport and you're done. Third, and this is crucial, while replacing a lost driver's license takes a few days, replacing a lost passport can take months. So there's definitely a trade-off to consider. Your experience and planning skills give you a huge advantage here. While younger travelers are panicking about deadlines, you can make an informed choice about what works best for your travel style. Now, speaking of backup options that most people never consider. Secret number 2, the alternative ID goldmine. Remember when you thought your driver's license and passport were your only options? Well, that's about to change. The truth is, TSA accepts way more forms of identification than most travelers realize. We're talking about transportation worker credentials, tribal nation IDs, even certain Canadian cards. These alternatives exist because the government understands that real life happens. People lose wallets, documents get stolen, and emergencies occur. The system is actually designed to accommodate these situations, but airlines don't exactly advertise this flexibility. Here's something that might ease your mind. Children under 18 don't need any ID at all for domestic flights. Now, as a parent, this gives me mixed feelings about security, but it shows you how the system prioritizes keeping families together over bureaucratic obstacles. The key insight here? TSA isn't trying to trap you with impossible requirements. They're trying to verify you are who you say you are, and they have multiple ways to do that. But wait until you hear what happened to that college student I mentioned. Secret number 3. The No ID protocol. Here's a situation that'll sound familiar to anyone who's traveled with young adults. Sarah's friend had her phone stolen in New Orleans, the phone that had her driver's license attached in one of those little wallet cases. We've all seen this setup. It seems so convenient until you realize you've just created a one-stop shopping experience for identity thieves. Phone plus credit cards plus driver's license. That's like leaving your entire life in an unlocked car with the keys still in it. But here's where this story gets interesting. When Sarah got to airport the next morning with absolutely no photo ID, the TSA didn't turn her away. Instead, they initiated what's called the ID verification process. Turns out, TSA has a whole protocol for this exact situation. They took her to a separate area and asked her personal verification questions that only she would know. They requested any alternative documentation, pill bottles with her name, pieces of mail, anything that could help confirm her identity. When she didn't have any physical backup, they switched to identity verification questions. Things like previous addresses, family member names, employment history. The kind of information that's in public records, but that only you would know off the top of your head. The brilliant part? She was able to answer enough verification questions to satisfy the agents. The process took about 30 minutes longer than normal security, but she made her flight home. Now, here's the catch. If you refuse to cooperate with their questions, they can absolutely deny you entry. But if you're genuine, patient, and cooperative, the system is designed to help legitimate travelers get home. Secret number 4, the Anti-Theft Protection System. Let me share the comprehensive anti-theft lessons we learned from Sarah's expensive mistake, because these strategies could save you from the same nightmare. Here's what really gets me about phone-attached wallets. They seem so convenient, but you're essentially carrying your entire identity in the most stealable item you own. Phones have one of the highest return on investment ratios for thieves. Grab someone's phone and you potentially get their payment methods, their identification, their personal photos, and their access to everything. Never put your license and credit cards in that little phone case. If you must carry cards with your phone, limit it to one backup credit card and keep your primary ID somewhere more secure. Here's another crucial mistake. Never walk around tourist areas with your phone hanging loosely in your hand. I see this constantly in crowded places. You might as well be advertising easy target to anyone watching. Here's how smart travelers actually protect their documents. First, I use a crossbody bag with slash-resistant panels. The straps on quality anti-theft bags also have wire cables inside that are slash-resistant. This isn't about being paranoid. It's about making yourself a harder target. Thieves want the easiest return on their risk investment. If it takes them time and effort, they'll move on to someone else. Second crucial strategy, always wear any bag across your body, not just hanging from one shoulder. This prevents the classic grab-and-run theft that happens so often in tourist areas. Third, and this might surprise you, use an RFID blocking wallet. Many people ask me what RFID actually is. It's radio frequency technology that criminals can use if they get close enough to the chips in your credit cards. An RFID blocking wallet prevents that wireless scanning completely. Never put all your cards in one place. Keep one credit card in your crossbody bag, maybe stash another in a sock with a hidden pocket. I actually did this in New York City, and the peace of mind was incredible knowing I had backup payment methods if my main wallet got stolen. Your driver's license contains what's called PII, personally identifiable information. This is exactly what identity thieves need to open bank accounts or run phishing scams through your email or mail. We're not going to hide in our houses and never travel, but we can be smart about protecting ourselves. But let's say disaster does strike and you lose everything. Here's how to get help fast. Secret number 5, the TSA contact secret. This next strategy involves something most travelers never think to do, actually getting professional help before you're standing at security in a panic. When Sarah's mom contacted me that morning, I immediately gave her 2 contact methods that most people don't know exist. First, the TSA website has a phone number that actually connects you to real people. Second, they respond to Facebook Messenger. Yes, really. When you call or message them, you're going to encounter their bot system first. Here's the magic phrase that cuts through the nonsense. No, that does not answer my question. Keep repeating this exact phrase to every automated response until you get transferred to a real person. I've tested this myself, and they do answer during business hours. The real people are actually helpful and can give you specific advice for your exact situation. They can tell you what documentation alternatives might work, how long the verification process typically takes, and even which airport entrances have the most experienced agents for handling no ID situations. This isn't about gaming the system. It's about getting accurate information from the source instead of relying on internet forums and outdated blog posts. But here's something even more valuable than knowing how to contact them. Secret number 6, the digital backup system and hotel safe strategy. Now we're getting into territory that could literally save your entire trip. Having digital copies of your identification isn't just smart, it's essential, but you need to do it right to avoid creating new security risks. For over 22 years, my family has been leaving our passports in hotel safes, and we've never had an issue. I know some travelers worry about this, but here's the thing. Your credit cards actually contain more exploitable personal information than your passport or driver's license. A criminal with your credit card information can immediately start making purchases. But your passport? They'd need a sophisticated identity theft operation to make that useful. And most petty criminals aren't running those kinds of schemes. But let's talk about creating smart digital backups that actually protect you instead of creating new vulnerabilities. Take a photo of your license with your phone, but here's the clever part. Print out that photo. The slight graininess from printing actually makes it harder for criminals to create convincing fakes while still giving you all the information you need. But for iPhone users, there's an even better method that adds a layer of security. Take a picture of your license, then go to your photos and press down on the screen. Tap Copy, then open your Notes app and create a new note. Press down again and tap Paste. Now here's the security trick that most people miss. Name that note something completely unrelated, like grocery list or book recommendations. If someone steals your phone, they won't immediately find your ID information. Most importantly, go back to your photos and delete the original picture. Now your license information is hidden in your notes under a misleading title, but you can access it instantly if needed. Secret number 7, the passport expiration trap. Picture this. You're all packed, excited for your international vacation, and you get to airport check-in only to discover your passport expires in 4 months. The airline agent shakes their head and tells you that you can't board. Why? Because many countries now require your passport to have at least 6 months of validity remaining. This exact scenario happened to someone staying with us. He couldn't go on a crucial family reunion trip because he discovered his expired passport at the airport. The tiny expiration date on your passport is so small that people miss it all the time, but it can instantly destroy thousands of dollars worth of vacation plans. For domestic travel, here's a fascinating detail most people don't know. TSA actually accepts expired driver's licenses within 1 year of when they expired, as long as that form of ID was acceptable when it was valid. It's like they understand that life happens and documents expire. But here's where passport protection gets really clever. Instead of photographing your passport pages like most people do, there's a much smarter approach that went viral for good reason. Inside the back cover of your American passport booklet is a barcode that contains all your passport information. The genius of photographing this barcode instead of your passport pages? If someone steals your phone, they can't read that barcode with their eyes. They'd need special scanning technology to access your information, which virtually no petty criminals carry around. This means you can safely store this barcode photo in your phone, send it to family members via email or text, and have complete peace of mind. I've been using this method for years, and it gives me such confidence when traveling internationally. Even if my passport gets lost or stolen, I have all the information authorities need to help me, but in a format that's useless to identity thieves. Here's another passport protection tip that'll ease your mind. All U.S. passport booklets have built-in RFID blocking technology. When your passport is closed, that technology protects your information from being scanned remotely. The vulnerability only exists when the passport is open, and even then, criminals would need to get within 6 inches of your open passport book. Remember when we all worried about international pickpockets scanning our passports from across the room? Turns out that's physically impossible with modern passport design. This is why I feel completely confident sending that barcode image to family members digitally. Even if someone intercepts that message, they can't do anything with a barcode they can't decode. So there you have it. 7 TSA identification secrets that transform you from a worried traveler into someone who's prepared for anything. These aren't just travel tips. They're your insurance policy against document disasters. Smart travelers know that preparation beats panic every time. If this video opened your eyes to how much control you actually have over travel emergencies, hit that like button and subscribe to Journey Tips for more insider secrets that respect your intelligence and experience. Share this with anyone who worries about lost documents ruining their trips. They'll thank you when they're confidently handling their next travel challenge instead of panicking at the airport. Thanks so much for watching, safe travels, and I'll see you on the next Journey Tips.